We are live. This is a very special one tonight, everybody. My name is Chryssie Whitehead Disbrow, and I am the co-founder of Broadway Arts Community with my best friend Alexis Carra, who is actually going to be on with us in the next 20 minutes or so. Had to put her baby down. That's the life we are in now, having a mama, being a full-time mom, and running a company. So tonight, we have our very first actual Tea for Two that I did. Was my very first one was actually with Tyler Haynes. And we just did it. We were like, I want to interview you. No, I want to interview you. And we were like, let's do it. So we did it on Instagram and then it got lost. So this is now, I think, our 32nd or our 33rd, I should say our 33rd episode. And we're with Tyler Haynes. And so I wanted to show a little bit about Tyler Haynes and just talk a little bit about him. He's a dear friend of mine. I met him on the national tour of Fosse, and we have done 3 shows together, and we'll talk about that. And tonight's just a night about dreams, life, the journey, how you can relate. Maybe students out there, maybe you can relate to something that Tyler says tonight, and we're hoping that that is the case. Tyler was born in Jacksonville, Florida, but raised in Marietta, Georgia. He was only 17 when he was discovered by Ann Reinking while attending Broadway Theater Project in Tampa, Florida. She cast him in the first national tour of the Tony Award-winning musical Fosse. Following the tour, he attended Carnegie Mellon University, leaving after a year, which we're going to get into, to make his Broadway debut, oh my goodness, in 2002 in Chicago. Broadway revival of Oklahoma. Soon after, he appeared in, you guys have done 10 Broadway shows. So Oklahoma, Urban Cowboy, The Boy from Oz, The Frog, Sweet Charity, A Chorus Line with Me, On the Town, Rum Tum Tugger, and Cats, and more. He's been on television and Fosse Burden. He choreographs for Kristen Chenoweth. He has in the past, and we're going to learn more about that before, so I can just shut up and you can just talk to him. So I'm going to bring in right now, Mr. Tyler.
Hi. Wow. What an intro. Come on.
Allows you.
First off, 32 guests that you've done of this Tea for Two. Yeah. That's amazing.
Isn't that incredible?
That's amazing.
And it all happened because we talked about it. We thought about, you were like, I really want to interview you. And I was like, I want to interview you. And why don't we just do it for ourselves? So we did an Instagram live. And we sat here, and I remember sitting here on the floor just having a good old chit chat with you with our tea. And yeah.
A little chorus line shout out. That's what I still have this one. Except it's weird. It's left-handed because that's the only way you can see the logo. Because Michael Bennett was left-handed.
Oh, he was? Oh.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't.
I didn't know. Tyler, it's so exciting. We're going to have Alexis come in, and it's going to be really fun for the 3 of us because we go back. And one of the things that I wanted to show, because I think it's important, we're Broadway Arts Community. We really focus on community and how important that is. And the fact that, and what that means is investing in your friendships while you have careers. And what's pretty cool is that we definitely have gone back since 2000. I've gone back with you since 2001, but Alexis and you go back to BTP.
2000. To 2000.
Just to 2000. Exactly.
Just to 2000.
Yeah, right. And so I wanted to stop the screen. I want to show this fun thing about the 3 of us. Just give me a second. I'm new to all of the, the things. Here we go.
High tech.
High tech.
Come on.
So here we are.
Yeah.
And it's this was actually a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
What year was the audition?
This is 2018. 18 maybe.
I think 18.
Yeah.
Still teaching. And we both came up to New York. Alexis and I got a hotel room. We auditioned with you, and it was good old times because we met at the national tour of Fosse.
Yeah, which now would be our 20th anniversary, you and I, because if it's January 2021 and you came on tour January of 2001, right? Down in Florida, right?
Yeah. Wow. You remember that?
Happy anniversary, honey.
Oh, happy anniversary. I got to meet Tyler. I remember you so much and thinking, gosh, what a talented guy. Then you were off on your way to go to Carnegie Mellon which was crazy. And I just thought, wow, this guy is going to go off and do things. And what's been really neat is when you get to interview your friends and then you do your research of you, and like, you don't really do that with your friends. Like, yeah, they did that show. They're amazing, but how's their heart? Like, I like to ask,
of course.
How's your heart? But so 20 years ago, we met dancing on the national tour. And I think that story is incredible about Ann Reinking. I'd like to actually go back in time when you were, let me get to you, when you were a little boy. And let me find it 1 second. How old were you when you first started dancing?
Oh boy. I think I was 7. I think so. All my older sisters, so I'm one of 7 kids, and my 3 older sisters and my little sister, they were always at the studio. I was always there, and it wasn't like my mom was like, all right, well, let's just keep him busy and throw him in a dance class. Like, I was like begging to be in dance because I admired my sister so much, and like I just gravitated towards dance for as long as I can remember, whether it was in like on movies or TV or ballets or whatever. And so like I begged to be in class, and I got in because I was persistent.
Well, you said you admired your sister. What did you admire about your sister? Can you remember? Like, what is it, the thing? Was it her hair? Was it the way she moved her body? Like, what was it inspiring you?
I think, well, it wasn't, for me, because I have 2 brothers, but like my older brother, he was very, he was like a skateboarder, and I wasn't, I just didn't really relate to that. And with my sisters, my 3 older sisters and my little sister, I think it was just, it was just this world that they got to be a part of, that I felt like I got to be a part of it as well, but it was like, as a, little boy, it's like you're supposed to be in sports and supposed to like certain things. And I didn't care for trucks and football. I cared for like ballet and being a pilgrim. And, and I don't know. I think with my sisters, because as I got older and started to understand dance more, and I did dance competitions as you did, that's when I was really able to identify what it was with my sisters that I really, that inspired me. I can think of my older sister, Jillian, and she just is one of the most passionate dancers I've ever seen, and just learning how to like express myself through movement, through watching her, or like my little sister, who also is an amazing dancer, but it was a child actor. And it was, that watching her go on her journey, that really kind of changed the trajectory of my life as an actor, because it was something that came to her so easy. She was so good at it. And for me, didn't kind of go as easy for me, but like I said, I'm very persistent. And so I will work my butt off. Yeah. Headshot. Look at that.
Exactly. Tell me right now. First of all, let's go back. Like, I'd like to do it this way. Okay. I want to go back and see this little boy over here. Please tell us who he is. Look at this spirit. Where are you? And where is Tyler at this moment in his life?
Okay, so Tyler at this moment, I think I want to say that's possibly when we lived in Florida. For my grandparents, my mom would do this calendar. So I was November. I was Thanksgiving. I was Mr. Thanksgiving right there. What I can tell you about this guy is he is the happiest kid. I was just always dancing around, flitting around, singing, happy, big old smile on my face. But then the reversal of that was then I would throw a temper tantrum like no other and would just pout. And like, it was 2 extremes. Oh yeah. So
look at that. That's so funny. Yes.
Yeah, but come on, somebody hire him, but no one ever did.
Now you said, let me get out of this for a second. When you said that dancing didn't come so easy for you at the very beginning. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think it was, the thing for me with dance, for example, because it just was something that I just loved without really even knowing what it was from being immersed in it. And like I said, watching my sisters. And then I got into like my ballet tap combo class, which was like the starter class at the studio. And I just, it's not so much singing and acting was something that definitely did not come easy for me. And like, but dancing, there were things that did, but I didn't really, like I could always kind of tumble. And there were certain things that like being the boy in the studio, it was like, all right, so you're going to tumble and whatever. But it wasn't, I didn't really start taking it seriously my first couple of years. Then once I started competing really early too. But I know when I took it seriously, actually, is when I got a front aerial. And that's when I started taking it seriously, because I got like the trick that they were like, you're a boy, you're not going to be able to do this. So I like got it. And then I was like, okay, well, let's take it serious now.
How old were you? How old were you when you said, let's take it serious?
11, perhaps.
How old is that headshot? I mean,
that headshot's probably like 9 years old, maybe.
You had a headshot 9 years old? Were you auditioning, Tyler? Were you like...
Yeah, like I said, my little sister was a really successful child actor in Atlanta, and I wanted to tag along and do what she was doing, and so we had an agent, and I think I got signed with the agent like because of her. I kind of say, and I talk about this in my one-man show, that I wrote her coattails, which I totally did, because she had all these opportunities. And I was always there because I had to be there, because my mom, was a single mom with all these kids. And so I would crash auditions or audition. And if they needed a sibling to her, part, then sometimes I would get it. But I mean, I was auditioning. I just didn't, I still don't know what I'm doing.
I mean, that's a great way to be, right? If you're still, I mean, that's not true. You don't know what you're doing.
Right. But
people wouldn't pay you to do what you do, right?
Yeah.
At this point in time. And that's where you get from there to the 9-year-old and the headshot of like, I just want to.
Right.
No, I mean, my question to you is, what I see in you and I've seen since I met you when we were so young is your work ethic. When do you think and first of all, your mom sounds like Gypsy. Like she has all these.
Mama Rose.
Mama Rose. I mean,
yeah.
I haven't seen your mom in so long. So hi, Mom, if you're watching. But like, she sounds amazing to be doing what she did with so many. How many kids again?
7. Single mom. 7 kids. Oh,
okay. Yeah. You're a saint. She's a saint. 7 kids, single mom. Shout out to Mama. Okay, so when did you get the work ethic, love? Like, I know you were enamored by it, but when did that happen?
I have, it's interesting because I know not the moment, but I have a specific story that my mom reminded me of so like I said, I wasn't like a natural singer, but I wanted it so bad. And my little sister, Whitney, and my older sister, Jillian, they have these amazing voices, and my sister Courtney. And I remember like my mom would be driving and I would be like singing and I'd be like, do I have vibrato yet? Do I have vibrato? Because I just kept trying. I kept trying because I wanted vibrato. And they had it and I just wanted to. And like I kept trying.
For the audience out there who doesn't know what vibrato is, what is vibrato? Is it like
vibrato is God, I wish I could explain it. My voice is really kill me. Yeah, it's like, the air moving through your voice, and I'm probably totally wrong, but it's, if you listen, especially like musical theater or classically trained singers, it's not straight tone where it's like straight. The note is just you're holding a note out, it's straight. Traditionally more in pop music, it's where it's straight and then it'll, kind of simmer.
It'll flutter
or whatnot.
Yeah,
flutter.
Whenever I speak, I'm always like, and I'm doing this, and then at the very end, I'm like, just because I want to hear that little sound.
Totally. It's like where your voice goes from like the pitch to like, like step down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Anyway, so my mom, so I kept trying. And then finally one day she was like, oh my God, you have it. That's something for me that I remember of like, cause I wanted that. And so I just kept working at that. And it's the same thing with, we have the same background in dance with dance competitions. And so it's you rehearse, repetition. And I think for me, I learned at an early age that repetition and the work that you put into that, there are results if you keep going with that. And so that was, and I didn't even realize that was the start of our work ethic, was just coming from the studios that we came from. If that makes sense.
No, it does. The work ethic is I mean, shooting for a competition, always for an end goal, like an end result, you know, like made you go, I want to, okay, there she is. She was saying she couldn't get in. Alexis. Lex, you there? Okay, good. Let me pull you in. This is a good way to bring her in. Hello.
Come on. Look at your hair. It looks amazing.
It's dark, yeah.
It's you're like, it's dark, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks so good though. Come on.
We switched. Alexis and I are like, we switched. I'm blonde, brunette.
I know, isn't that crazy? I'm like brunette and Chryssie's super blonde.
Super blonde. We're here. We're in the middle of, we were just talking about competition days and how where the work ethic came in. We're so glad.
And speaking of, I want to say this too, because Alexis, I first saw not Alexa off. Sorry.
Oh, that's hilarious. It happens like in everyone's home.
Seriously, it's the worst. So I first met her, or I first saw her, excuse me, through a competition in Orlando when you were like, what, petite Miss Star Power of America? Because my sister Jillian was like junior Miss Star Power of America the same year. So there's a picture of her and my older sister from then, but like way back in the day.
It's freaking crazy.
Taking it back.
Taking it back. And then Alexis and I have a picture of us, the same, actually dancing at like a party, but we never met. That was for all the dancers for Mr. and Miss Star Power in Ocean City. Ocean City, maybe?
Ocean City, yeah, because Chryssie was Miss Star Power and I was like second runner-up or something.
No way.
I was in a green dress.
Star Power.
Star Power, Mr. Gary.
Star Power.
So we're just saying, so you had this amazing work ethic. So what happened? We wanted to, I have this one thing that we're going to show of you performing in high school, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You did this while I'm pulling it up. You did just, you did talk a little bit about the one-man show, because you put this in the show.
Yeah, so so a couple years ago, I had a couple of opportunities. I had some producers come to me and be like, we really would love to produce your one-man show at this venue or this. And I was like, I don't really do that. That's not my thing. And because that's just for me, I'm like, I've never been someone that's like, I want to do a show or I want to cut an album or whatever. It's because it's also playing myself, and that's something I find kind of hard to do. It's easy to like hide behind a character, whereas like being yourself is, I did find at least like challenging. But then I'm the type of person that if it terrifies me, then I'm like, you got to do it, because that's where you are going to really thrive and grow. So I developed this one-man show. I wrote it with Sarah Jean Ford and Christopher Hankey, and we did it a couple different places. And then the last stop I did it at was in my hometown in Marietta, and Wayne Salento directed it. And it was the most fun I've ever had. And I do a section in the show. I went to this performing arts high school, and it's Christopher Hankey wrote this section. It's really, really funny, but it's all about show choir and whatnot. Oh, yeah. Yes! And puberty. So yeah, that's a little section of the show, because I'm like talking about how I'm like, I worked so hard on my voice and I trained, and by my senior year I finally could say I was a singer, and then I played that where I just bit it.
But you know what, Tyler, and I will say this to those of the people who are watching and people watch later, like I am jumping in, but with work ethic, Tyler, during Sweet Charity, I remember you were just constantly in the mirror, and not in like a vain way. You were in the mirror working on your shapes, on your, like, I've never seen someone work so much on like style also, like, because I think that all of us like remember being at the bar and constantly doing technique, but you were working on style and like angles, and it was just like, I really had never seen anyone do that ever. really to understand how their body could match what Wayne and like Corinne were doing, and you were just trying to match your body. And correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe we'll get to this later, but like I feel like now to see that you find a balance between that work ethic and obsession. And I don't know if I feel like you have really gone through that as your friend. I know that you learned to balance that, and I don't know if maybe you can talk about that a little bit with people, because I know that some people have, it's like they're the perfectionist thing, and to get out of your own way to also experience in the moment and the vitality of it. I don't know if you can speak into that.
Yeah, and thank you for that. That it's something that like I think, and I battled it, like, because it's easy to compare and despair and like, you know, all those things. And for me, it's like when you go back to like with Sweet Charity and that I feel like started really when we were all doing Fosse, because I felt like like I felt so out of place. And so I was like, how do I look? Because I had like bowl cut, and like I was like, how do I look like all these other people? And so it was trying to make myself fit into this world. And but I think for me, it's finding the balance of being able to do the work and then let go of that, and then just kind of like let it grow from there. And sometimes it's super easy, because sometimes like the work just fits really well, and then sometimes it just doesn't. And so you have to find your way into it, and it's like cracking the spine and finding, and there are certain projects that like I never felt like it.
Was it cracking the spine, or did you, because I know
God, yeah,
okay.
Oh yeah, that was something. It was interesting with Cats, because I mean you were there in my final callback, like, and it was like something I was up for a totally different role, and I had to learn all like peaks and the pollicles, and then they didn't have me do it, and they had this other guy, Andy, went after me to do it. There was like 6 of us there waiting all day, and it was like Lexi and Jess Patty, and so then I was like, went to Lexi immediately, because I was like, well, I'm not getting this, like, because they didn't have me sing this song. And you were like, no, don't do that. And then Andy was like, come in and do you know any of the Tugger stuff? Whatever. That audition was such a interesting thing. I knew I was more right for the role that I got from the get-go, but I didn't know how I got the role wasn't your traditional, it wasn't how I thought it was going to be. Like I thought they were going to have me do all the Tugger stuff. And really I just sang like a pop rock song, and I made a dirty joke, and apparently that dirty joke is what booked me the job. But walking into rehearsals, I had such imposter syndrome, because I was like, they never heard me do the material. How do they know that it's right? And I hadn't really lived in I hadn't found him yet, because at least when you're going through a series of callbacks, you start to find these characters and yourself in these characters. And this was somebody I was like, I don't know who this guy is yet. And it was hard, because I had so many cooks in the kitchen just telling me, this is who he is. This is who he is. And for me, I didn't know who he was. And it was really, really hard until, and I feel like it took me a while to really find him. And then once I found him, he was like there. And like, I couldn't wait to like see him every night. Sorry, I'm so lame and I talk about characters like that, but like they're a part of you, and there's someone that, you know, hopefully you take with you as a new friend. But it was definitely something, it was interesting. It was it was so fun. But it definitely,
I mean, you were living.
It was so fun. It was the best time.
When you look at that right now, after it's been a couple years, how do you feel like when you see yourself, like other people see that, right? And they go, oh, wow. You know, but how do you feel when you see that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy to me, because time flies so much. And like, that was such a awesome chapter, and was the most fun. And it was the most I learned so much, and I learned how to be fearless. And I think that was the thing, circling back to your initial question, Lexi, of like, you know, doing the work but not obsessing. It was like in rehearsals I was obsessing because I didn't know, and then literally I just had to let it go. And then once I let it go and then I put that gear on, then I was like, oh, he's here. And then it was just like, and it was something that every night it was the longest I've ever stayed with the show because I'm the type of person I like to be like, all right, a year and then I'm out, because it's like it's a good time to leave. But with Tugger, it was definitely every night, not to be like I used it as like an acting class, but I just kind of would just go with the flow and like whatever happened would happen. And it was just like, I say this, I was just throwing spaghetti at the wall, not even seeing what stuck. I just was like, whatever. And so, and
you really played, you were really playing.
Oh my God. But they gave me that permission. They gave me, and that's such a gift where you have the director being like, all right, go for this whole number. I want you to be on top of the oven. Cool. What do you want me to do? Whatever you want. So moving on. And I'm just like, okay. And so I did. And it was just exploring so much. And that's such a fun show to do. I think it's more fun to be in than to like watch, but it was cool.
Can you explain this? The School of Rock and you? I don't know what that is. What is this?
So this was a cool thing that happened. We had a lot of cool things happen, but there was it was Andrew Lloyd Webber's birthday. And so at that point he had 4 shows running on Broadway. He had Cats, Sunset Boulevard, School of Rock, and Phantom. So on Good Morning America, we did a mashup with Cats, School of Rock, and Phantom. And so that's I think her character's name was Katie, who I befriended in the number. It was so fun. I
saw that. I wonder if that's also on YouTube.
Oh yeah. No, it's totally on YouTube. It's definitely one of those things. It should not work, but it totally works. Wow. It totally works. Yeah, it was so fun.
Stage it? Who staged it?
Joanne Hunter, who was the choreographer of School of Rock.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That must have been cool.
Yeah, it was just, there was a lot of really cool things that, anytime that I've done more revivals than original shows, but I think there's something I find it really fun because you get these really cool experiences from this show that has a already established legacy, Yeah. And like we went through that with a chorus line. I wish we would have gone through that more with Sweet Charity, but we just had drama. We just had drama. But you get these I
wanted to be in that. And so even for the listeners too, like this is just the craziness of how this goes. But we were all 3 there at that final callback, and I got cut at the final callback, and they went on, and I was super happy for them and bummed that I was still trying to make my Broadway debut, and like, you just never know what's around the corner. And I remember watching Alexis in it as Helene, honey. Were you Helene or Nikki? Nikki.
You were Nikki, yeah.
Yeah, and you got me in the balcony, and the ushers, and I got to see you go on.
I did?
Yeah. You don't remember? You sent me a text. You said, I can get you in.
I don't remember that.
We'll get you in. I can get you in. And I was like, oh my God. And I came up, and that's how I saw you perform it.
Oh my God. I don't remember that.
Brilliant. And I remember watching you going, wow, Alexis is like grown up. Like, like, you were so young. We were still young. You were young.
Yeah, oh my God. We were so young.
So young, babies.
Like babies. 22, 24?
I turned, I was 22 because I turned 23 when I left to go do Footloose. And then I came back to close out the show because I remember that Blink 182 song, Nobody Likes You When You're 23. And I thought nobody liked me.
I think I was 26.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, right. No, you were younger than that because
maybe 25.
Yeah. Because right after that, a chorus line happened. I feel like. Sweet Charity.
Yeah, chorus line was like auditioning during Sweet Charity.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
my gosh. Yeah. So, where are we?
We kind of flash forwarded, but just basically go to the fact that like how did you get to Carnegie and what was that decision like for all the students out there and people wanting to go to school and Carnegie maybe a school for them?
Well, I first off, when I went to I went to Performing Arts High School, Pebblebrook High School, the Cobb County Center for Excellence in the Performing Arts in Mableton, Georgia, and that's when I really started diving in with more the acting and the singing, and things just started to settle, and all those years of finding vibrato and all that stuff, it started to settle in high school. But what really changed it for me was when Lexi and I went to Broadway Theater Project. The first year I went was in '98, and that was where I was around like 99 of these like incredibly talented people from all over that had all this knowledge of these different schools. Like I'd never heard of University of Michigan before until I went there, and so I started to learn more. And then how did I find it? Through Abby O'Brien. Abby O'Brien, who went to Pebblebrook with me. She was my dance partner. She was 2 years above me. She went in 97.
Okay.
I don't even know how she found it. Maybe through like backstage.
This is the
community. This is also like pre like internet, like I'm aging us all, but like it was like you would. I think I remember reading about BTP at the back of like Dance Magazine or something where they'd have like things or like auditions and stuff.
Because you had to audition for BTP.
Yeah.
You couldn't just go.
No. It was.
I wish I knew.
But that's just it, though. It wasn't like the ones that did know, and that's why it was like, the people there. It's so many of them are just thriving in this profession, and it's crazy because little did we know, being in this little like bubble that we were in. I mean, listen, the bubble that we were in was super intense and
high profile,
satisfying and high profile, and like you had fancy people coming down to teach, but it was still fun. But anyway, I digress. So college, by my senior year, I knew that I auditioned for, I think, 4 colleges. I auditioned for NYU, Juilliard and Dance, CCM, and Carnegie Mellon. I didn't get into NYU. I didn't want to audition for Juilliard because I didn't want to go to school for dance, but I was pressured into it. And thankfully I got in, but I was just like, really wanted to act. And Carnegie Mellon, their CCM is an excellent program, but Carnegie Mellon, their focus there is acting with musical theater and with their actors. And that was something I just really, really had a hunger for. And so
why did you want to act?
Because because in high school, all my best friends were in the drama department. And so I was like a groupie to all their plays and I loved it. I remember seeing like Antigone and I was like, this is the best thing ever. Or like Steel Magnolias, crying, just being like a little queen in the audience. But I was like, I want to be Shelby. But it was just, it was, I don't know. And I did musicals in high school. And I remember one of the first lead roles I got, we did this show called My Favorite Year. And the character I got was
shut up and
dance. Yes.
I did
you did that?
Yes.
You did that? God. So I wasn't that character. I was like the alcoholic old Hollywood movie star that Tim Curry played. But the thing was,
know that musical very well.
It's like about a show within a show, and it's really good. But the character, it was one of those things I was like, why did they cast me in this role? It was like the second lead, but he's like this like British movie star who's a has-been and is a deadbeat dad, and he's making his comeback. At the time, I was like, oh, this sucks. Like now I'm like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Totally.
And I knew when I was doing it, I was like, this is amazing because I get to be like drunk and I get to like cry and like all this stuff. But for me, it was so. And I remember too, this is terrible because I had to sing the song at the end of Act 1 called If the World Were Like the Movies. And I'm talking about just like how I'm like this deadbeat dad and this has been. And the director wanted me to cry at the end and I didn't know how to do that. So I'd have my friends write me, I had to read a letter from my daughter and they would write me like sad letters. So then I could read it and cry because I didn't know how to do that. But it'd be like, your sister died today. Like messed up. But I was bawling.
But it worked.
I mean, that's really creative for you to be like, it's like super method. You're like,
it's also messed up, but like, it's like one of those things. Like, but I was like,
hey, whatever.
I was like, yeah, it's so, but that was where I was like, wow, this is fun. Like getting to like, wear somebody else's, clothes for that 2.5 hours and just kind of explore that. And so I think that was the first like taste of that. And also, to be honest with this, I'm going to sound like such an egomaniac, but I really wanted to go to Carnegie Mellon too because nobody from my high school had ever gotten in. And I was like, I'm going to be the first. And that sounds terrible. But I remember, I was. now plenty of people have gone, but like I remember my audition, the interview, and I just like was in there for like what seemed like an hour, and I got that feeling from them. I was like, this is where I belong, and then I got in, and it worked out, and and I was able to attend for a little period of time.
Hey, listen, everybody has their journey in their path.
Yeah. You were okay. I have one question from all of that. Was there a teacher either in high school or college that you felt like really understood you and like mentored you in a way that, or maybe not, maybe after college? I mean, I know that you've had plenty of mentors professionally, like especially which we can talk about, but was there a teacher specifically?
I think it's more, for me, it was more like I didn't, yes, in a way, that saw me or saw my potential. That's more of what I think of with that. Like, I had like, we all had the great fortune of working with Ann Reinking, and that was someone who just totally changed my life. Just was like, oh, hey kid, I think you could go and do this and be in this show. That's why I didn't go to Carnegie Mellon at first, because she cast me in the first national tour of Fosse. But another one, but on a more personal level, Dave Clemens, who
that's who I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was, I started working with him through Abby O'Brien. Our high school would go up to New York City. Well, not because of her. I was in show choir, and so we'd go every January to New York City and study for a weekend with a bunch of different teachers. So I started taking with Dave because Abby had worked with him at BTP. And then my first summer at BTP, I remember he wanted me to get up and sing in front of class, and I was terrified and I couldn't do it. So he waited after class, made me sing with him, and then he was like, I think that you have a voice in you. And so I want you to take this year and I want you to really dive in with your and like, oh, are we good?
We're good. We're good. I'm trying to put you.
I'm like, I'm hanging on a thread with the story.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, so then I remember I couldn't, that was the summer of 98. Then 99 January, I couldn't wait. I mean, I busted my butt and I couldn't wait to get up and sing for him on our school trip. And then I did, and he was like super happy with it, but he kept just like pushing me. And then when I returned to BTP in 2000, and he's always just been like, for me, he's just been such a champion. He just pulled something out of me. I just didn't ever.
A casting director, right?
Yeah. He used to be a performer. He's a teacher. He cast me in The Boy from Oz. He gave me my first like principal role when I went to go do Footloose in Chicago. He cast me in that. And I remember like I was talking with him. I remember like for me, the moment that I felt like, oh, I like, this is a cool singer moment. I played Angeras in Les Mis, and I remember I texted him and I was like, you're never going to guess what I'm doing right now. And I would not be doing this had you had not pulled me aside in the summer of 98 and been like, you can sing. And I owe, like, he's someone, he just changed things for me. And I owe so much to him. And he's a dear friend, and he's the man.
Isn't he in Florida? That is such a beautiful story. Isn't he in Florida now or no?
I think so. I'm actually not 100% sure.
I think he did move to Florida.
Yeah, we have a BAC student who I think is, it's pretty neat. There's another circle of communication in there.
I don't think I knew that.
Alexandra Catherine Dow is, I think. Anyway, it's giving you more tea than tea.
That's amazing. I mean, it really does take a teacher, sometimes just see like holding up that mirror to believe in you. And I was curious if that was Dave, because that was the summer I met you. So I saw him pushing you.
I know.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I knew I'd met, but I mean that BTP summer, I remember him kind of, riding you in that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So Tyler, you've done like so after that, right? You end up leaving and you go on for Oklahoma, and I know you have all these amazing stories. What?
I'm just saying, yeah, I counted 10 Broadway shows.
I was like, yeah, 10 Broadway shows. Okay. And it's pretty amazing as we look at your resume. In these moments when you've looked back on it now, now we are where you are at and you have these 10 Broadway shows. What does Broadway mean to you?
God, I should have prepared an answer because I knew you were going to ask this and I didn't.
It's better. It's off the cuff.
You know what? It used to be like the impossible dream, but now it still is. It still is to me because something that's never gotten old to me ever is walking backstage into a stage door because I still can't believe that I am doing this, or I live in New York, or I've been in any Broadway shows. That's never worn off because I just had you had told that kid from BTP this is what you're gonna end up doing, I would have been like, nah, no way. Because it just seemed excuse me, so out of my realm. And I think for me it still has that, it's still that shiny thing. It's still, yeah, it's hard work. And yeah, now that we're older, we see things differently, but I guess now it's more the possible dream.
I like it.
But you still have a reverence for it, is what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Broadway.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
great.
Oh no. And I think for me, it's had different phases too, because I had a really cool, I still have a cool ride, but when I moved to New York, it was boom, 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 boom. It's this is so weird. This is not the normal trajectory. I still appreciated it. But I was just young and just all right, I'm going to go do this show now or whatever. And it was still hard. I worked my butt off and had a good time. But coming back to the more recent shows where and I'm older now and I have a life, I have more of a well-rounded life where I'm able to love what I do and be there and show up and appreciate it. But then also I have a life outside of that too, because that's something that I don't know if I necessarily had that when I was younger, but now it's something that I need. I need a more well-rounded life. So then I don't go crazy, So I'm not defined.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You're not defined by what?
So I'm not defined by what I'm working on, because that's another thing. I used to hate getting, so what are you doing right now? Even when you're working on a show. So what's next? And I'm next I'm going to go get some coffee. And I don't know, it was something, but go ahead.
Don't you think that that's kind of a journey that I feel like every successful person I know has had to go through that journey?
Yeah.
Where their work is their obsession, because to achieve that level, you kind of have to go all in a way that perhaps maybe people who in their 20s have more of a balanced life. I think about certain people who get married and have kids in their 20s, and I'm there's no way I could have done that.
Right.
My work, my life was my job.
Yeah.
But then as we grow older, we see that balance is actually a part of maintaining, because there's a difference between that in your 20s when you're saying that, go, go, go. And you're just and you don't get as burnt out, but then you reach this point where you're either you reach it because you get burnt out, you get injured, or you start getting rejection.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't know if that segues into, I want you to finish your thought, but I would love for you to talk about your time where you did move to LA and because everybody who does that New York LA trend, it's a mind.
Yes. That to me, moving to LA was where I learned the importance of a well-rounded life, where I learned how to achieve that. And I'm still trying to achieve that, but it's something I made a decision after Chorus Line that I wanted to just really focus on principal roles in theater and start having people see me as a leading man. And so I did a lot of, the first thing I did was a play with Chryssie, and then
hold on. Are we going there? Then we can go to LA, because I want to pull this up.
Yeah, go there. Let's go there.
Let's go there. I mean, this is where it's taking us. So
this is where it's taking us. Well, look at this. I mean, some of these things you're saying leading man. I didn't. Which one is this?
So this is a bed and a chair. That's myself and Meg Gillentine. And
is it?
That's
yeah, that was a Stephen Sondheim, Wynton Marsalis review. That was at City Center, and it was the coolest experience because it was like all new arrangements, jazz arrangements of Sondheim's music, directed by John Doyle. Parker Essie choreographed it, and that was just something I literally got a call one day, and he was like, "Do you want to come do this?" I was like, "Sure." And then it was like the cast was like myself, Meg, Elizabeth Parkinson, and Kingsbury, Bernadette Peters.
This is it, right?
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Like, this
God.
cast, because there are the singer versions and then there are the dancer versions. So
I don't think I knew about this. I never knew about this.
It was something at City Center, and they're like fall lineup. So like Elizabeth Parkinson was the dancer version of Bernadette Peters. I was the dancer version of Jeremy Jordan. Meg was the dancer version of Cyril Amy, and then Grace Ann and Norm Lewis. So it was like this really just cool special project with these awesome people. That was like a couple weekends, and then
Elizabeth Parkinson is going to be teaching for us in an expert series.
I was telling Chryssie, I want to tell this story. So I'm sorry I'm talking so much.
This is it.
So Elizabeth Parkinson, trumpet solo, right? Like Cool Hand Luke, like Fosse original cast, Brenda moving out, whatever. Obsessed. So on one of our first rehearsals, Parker was like, "All right, so you're doing this pa with Elizabeth," and I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Yeah." So so starstruck, because also Scott Wise, her husband, is like one of my idols because he won a Tony for being a triple threat in Jerome Marmon's Broadway, and he's amazing. So I remember, she's the loveliest. She smells great, and she has these gorgeous feet. And we had to do this lift, and I was so nervous, and she was so just kind. And I had to do a lift where I just had to like throw her up and then catch her around her legs. So I did it, caught her, and then farted so loud. So loud.
You farted or she farted?
I farted. So loud. So loud. And then literally brought her down, and she was just so kind. She was just like, "That just means I owe you one." And I was like,
that's amazing. But then at least she was like, well, at least you were really squeezing your butt to not drop it.
Yeah. Well, I also, because the thing is, like, and it just was so loud. And I'm the type of person that I will be like, I just farted really loud. Like, I have to point it out. Like, it's like if you've got a zit and be like, "Do you see my zit?" Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just come through. I want to do like a 2-word takeaways from some of these jobs. Okay. So this is a fun thing that we have been doing is called just give me 2 words when you look at this picture.
Blonde.
Blonde. I was going to say blonde.
Blonde and
this is Chorus Line on Broadway.
Yeah, this Chorus Line on blonde and geez, that show was so many things. And shower. That's what the Chorus Line is.
And shower.
Shower.
That was really cool. You're on Fanfare. I thought that was really neat.
I love that.
So good.
Yeah.
Shower. He says shower because of I played Christine in a Chorus Line, and and that's me over here. And then okay.
Studio.
2 words.
Bathtub. And what else?
It's a 3-person play.
I know.
Who was the third person?
You played the choreographer.
Steven. Sorry, Steven. I'm not going to be able to.
Stephen Emile? Stephen? No, Emile was
his character's name. He was like the original Reverend Shaw in Footloose. Going back to the studio, that show should have had a life. Gone too soon. That's my other word. Because I want to explore that character now, because now I'm at the right age to understand Jackie.
Yep. Alexis can do this too. I mean, it's amazing. It's super.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Mueller. What show is this?
This is All Shook Up with me and Jesse. God, that just fun. And
quick, Tyler.
Because I call her Puss Puss. So fun and Puss Puss.
Amazing.
Look at this. Is that you again in All Shook Up?
That's Hairspray at Sacramento Music Circus.
Nice.
So Elevator or whatever. And
these are like lessons learned, like takeaways, like from
your takeaways. What takeaways?
Is it? Well, lessons are basic. So I did Hairspray on Broadway, and I understudied Link, and I played Fender. Fender was super fun. So then I got to really play Link for like a long period of time. Link wasn't as fun. That was the thing I took away from that show. I was like, oh, I liked being Fender because he was a nerd. Link is a square.
Yep.
Cool.
What about this?
Ooh, Cabaret at Tuts with Leslie Kritzer.
Ooh.
That was the first show I felt like I was like an actor. Because I had that dramatic scene with Sally Bowles in the end, and she threw a suitcase at my head one time. And Hurricane. Leslie Kritzer is a hurricane in the best possible way. She's unreal. Best tennis partner. American Dance Machine for the 21st Century. That's Pinball Wizard. And Rockstar. And that was pre-Tugger.
That's such a great shot.
Oh, that was the coolest.
Is that Paloma right there?
Yep, that's Paloma.
Yeah, she's great. What?
Oh.
So that's On the Town at Paper Mill. That's Shecky and Brian.
By Shecky.
Yeah.
I love this guy. I competed with him. He's from Michigan. Brian, is it Brian?
Brian Shepard.
Yeah.
Cool. I wish I could have seen that too.
He's married to Amy Spanger.
Stop, freeze, pause. This is Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Why are you in a picture with Channing Tatum?
I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. That was Coen Brothers' Hail Caesar. Coolest gig. It was just fun. It was fun. It was like 10 guys doing this number, old Hollywood number, and being out in LA for like a month, only having to work a couple of hours a day and then just getting to like chill and hang out and like, it was awesome.
Was he cool?
That was Chris Catelli. That was another one. That's why I haven't gotten rid of Facebook, even though I've kind of deactivated my account recently, because that was like a Facebook message being like, hey, do you want to come do this? And I was like, what? Huh? Okay. Right. Just like be with the Coen brothers and like do this.
Yeah. That scene was so amazing.
It was fun. It was super fun.
I didn't see it. Now this is Broadway.
Yeah. Oh boy. That was like a full circle. That was cool.
Oh.
Because, sorry.
Don't be sorry. It's okay.
So we talk about how, like, sorry, I don't know why I'm being like this. So lame.
It's not. Don't apologize. You're opening yourself. It's beautiful.
So you think, so going back to the early years of like Broadway, and boom, 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 boom. And then there's like this, you make this decision of like, this is what I want to do. And you guys have done this. You guys get it. And then it's like you're just like waiting for like that moment or that job or whatever of like, and this was something, I had 8 years in between a chorus line and this. And this was, I was doing Kiss Me Kate out at the Old Globe. And I got a call that they, to stand by for Tony Asbeck. And I was like, wait, what? What do I have to do? And they're like, you just have to hit a G. That's it. The director wants you, the choreo. And I was like, I don't understand. It was the easiest Broadway show I've ever gotten. And I didn't understand why. And then I got there because I just never thought I'd ever walk into a Broadway theater again. Like, I was just like, you are chasing something that like chasing this high. And then, and I had to go on my own journey too. And I remember just being there and I got there and they were like, all right, you're going to be on in 5 days. Because Tony had to have foot surgery and Tony was amazing and like, and walked me through stuff. And then it just was like this full circle moment, not with only the show, but just like with myself. And it was awesome. And I made some amazing new friends, but that moment, I just remember we had to run down this like ramp, and I just didn't take that for granted at all. Every moment there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to be all teary.
No, don't apologize.
This is what we're here for. It's chat. It's not about.
You're like, this is good TV. This is good TV.
Tyler, Wayne cried too.
Yeah, he did. Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mara. So this was Kiss Me Kate at Barrington Stage, and this was something. So I've been lucky to have amazing leading women, Chryssie being one of them. And the thing with a partnership, you just have to have a partnership. You have to take care of each other. And Mara and I got to know each other on this show. We didn't get to know each other in a chorus line. We were different people. And not only is she just such a great scene partner, but I was going through just like a lot. I wasn't going through a good time in my life. And I was also producing this web series. And I was just I felt very manic at this moment. And she just carried me. Like, she took care of me, and we have this bond now from that. And that's what I took away from that show. The show was awesome. Lauren choreographed it. But Mara, like, she's a very special girl.
Who choreographed it? You said Lauren Lataro?
Lauren Lataro, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So that's them there too.
Yeah.
Great. Love that.
So that's Kiss Me Kate Part 2. Just Kiss Me Kate. It's with Megan Sikora. This was
Is that Megan Sikora? Amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
fun.
so funny.
So fun. That was fun. Andras, let's move on to Andras, because my favorite character ever.
Amazing.
Ever.
Where is it?
Where did you do that?
I did this at Maine State Music Theater, and like Les Mis was a show. I'm like, why would you ever be in this show? It was one of the hardest things I've done, but he just was like, I learned so much from him. Like, there was so much that I just wanted to take into my life, because he is just this like leader, this bold, like,
you see it.
Well,
yeah. It's an amazing photo.
It's amazing.
Yeah. I love it.
Seeing you. That doesn't look like Tyler to me. That's what this is.
No, you like transform in these photos. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's Mary Poppins.
Oh my God.
That was just fun. That was another, like, I had a great Lauren Blackman, who was my Mary. Like, we were just like, we had so much fun, because it was just fun. Like, we just really liked each other a lot. And it helped me really. That was so that summer at Maine State Music Theater, and Maine State Music Theater is such an amazing summer stock in Brunswick, Maine. I've been fortunate to work there a lot, and I love working there. Love it. And so I did like a whole season that summer where I started off Andras, and then I played Tulsa and Gypsy, and then I played Bert and Mary Poppins. So it was like a cool, like, just like I went from being like soldier to like,
cool.
Regional theater, like
it's the best.
Yeah, you've done a lot of regional theater.
Yeah.
Where are the two charity photos, Chryssie?
I'm sorry. Did I miss it? Hold on. I'm trying to do all the things.
I know. Chrissy's like our tech wizard. Well, let's keep going, and then you can find it.
I'll find it for sure.
This is Spamalot. That was that's at Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera. That's Elizabeth Stanley, who was nominated for a Tony this year for A Jagged Little Pill. This show was just another, like, I got to be just like ridiculous, like blonde. I was Sir Galahad. Ridiculous.
Amazing.
Yeah. This is just a concert benefit doing Dance and Dan with like two Broadway legends, Deidre and Shannon Lewis.
Love.
Yeah, that Lexi, you actually. What'd you say?
I thought I was.
You were supposed to do that.
Why didn't I do it?
I don't remember.
I can't either. Okay. Look at this.
I don't remember. I was supposed to do it too?
No. You helped me do pre-pro in LA. I have a video of us like at the edge working on it.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah. Okay. So this that was okay. So I dream role of mine since I was a kid was like Riff, and West Side just never came my way. Or it did, but this character didn't come my way. And so then this was not right after Cats, but like at Barrington Stage, and they wanted me to play riff, and I was like, I'm going to be the oldest riff ever. But
whatever.
But whatever, I didn't care. But it's interesting because in my mind, I just always knew how I was going to play him, and it did not go any way that I thought. Like I was like, oh, he's not this, he's not at all. Yeah, it was I would say stillness, because I just lived in stillness with him. Because I was like, I'm not going to do anything. You're going to listen to me, and I'm going to talk down here the whole time because I don't have to, because I'm the leader. And so like, you're going to come to me and don't look me in the eyes. And like, and because it was a really, I felt like, I don't know, it was super fun.
Oh,
I wish y'all
Wig. Wig. She's the best. She's cool.
Is she cool?
It was fun. Yeah, she's not an alien. Like he's not. I mean, I know you got to work with Sam a lot. I did, but not really.
And you got to work with Michelle, and I didn't really.
Yeah, and we just like we were, because we had a couple rehearsals in the studio, just her and I, and she just is normal, and it was fun, and then just watching her process. Like I remember the day that we did this scene at the Chicago opening night party, and I'm pretty sure I Marco Polo'd like both of you, because I was like freaking out because I'm like in a tux in this scene with like Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon and Ann Reinking and Neil Simon, blah blah. In this weird meta universe, I'm like in this world, and I was geeking out. I was like, what? I was like, what is happening?
Out watching both of you. So both of these lovely, amazing people and friends of mine were on the Fosse Verdon show and in this television show. And so both Alexis were on different episodes, right? Lex, which episode?
Yeah.
You're in the Pippin episode. She was in the Pippin episode.
Yeah. She was in like the more, you had like, God, your part was awesome. You killed it.
She did an amazing job. What was the name of the character? I always forget.
Sherry. I didn't forget Sherry.
Oh, I mean, and then you end up
then you choreographed a Broadway show.
Yeah, that was cool. That was from her tour. That was she's awesome. I mean, she kind of came into my life in a strange way, like when I was living out in LA, and I choreographed a number for her on Dancing with the Stars, and then we just hit it off, and then she had me choreograph her tour and a couple other things. And then on my birthday in 2019, they were like, hey, do you want to choreograph her Broadway show? And I was like, sorry, what? And then it just kind of happened, and was another strange, like, what's going on kind of moment, but super fun. Yeah.
Well, awesome. You did, like, Tyler, you keep, and for our students, I feel like you are somebody who's always so game. Like, you're just game to work hard and to say yes. Like, you like slipped in. I was in the middle of Kiss Me Kate. I was producing a web series. Like, you know what I mean? You're just like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to learn? Like, how can I tackle this? And that opens doors for you. You know who else is like that? Just Patty.
Yes.
It's like,
totally.
You say yes, and you just put your head down, and you don't effing complain. You just like get in it. And I think that is amazing, because it's opened up these doors for you and these possibilities that seemingly just kind of were there for you, but it's because of all the work you had done, before.
Right.
So
we like to talk about, we wanted to go back into the LA really quickly.
Yeah.
Could you give us like, just a little bit of what you learned from LA, and then we'll head back into the end.
Yeah. So LA kind of came I feel like there's always that trajectory of like being in New York for a while. You're like, all right, LA. And for me, it wasn't about, I moved out to LA. It wasn't about like, I had to get out of New York. I was like mourning the loss of like one of my best friends. And I was like, I need a change of scenery. Mm-hmm. And like, I remember going out to LA, and it was exactly the rehab that I needed. It was sunny. It was, I could breathe. Like I had space. And, but in that too, I had to figure out how to create a life, because it's not like stepping out, jumping on the subway, and like, you're constantly surrounded by people in New York, and LA is more spread out, and you have to drive, and, and like, you guys both hooked me up with like great teaching jobs, but I felt like it was in my car because I was like driving to Palos Verdes or like, or wherever, but it was great. But it also just, the thing I learned from LA, I found like I started off at Birch Studios, which Chryssie recommended me to. And then I ended up at Leslie Kahn, which through this pandemic, I'm taking with her Monday nights. And like, that's because I finally found like a studio that made sense to me with acting. Cause I wasn't the type of person that was like, but my objective, or like, I'm trying to like, for me, I was like, and I could go on and on about Kahn, but like, that was something that I took away from that. But it was also just like, I needed to grow up. I needed to have some time away from who I thought I was. And the LA provided, I was there for about 2.5 years, and a lot of really cool choreography things opened up, which I was never really like gunning for, but it just helped me like kind of settle more into the person that I have become. And it made me fit into New York better when I returned to New York, because I wasn't so, it took some of the desperation out of it.
Yeah, like, oh.
I wasn't so thirsty, and I have my moments, don't get me wrong, but like I'm able to, I don't know, there was just something very healing for me about LA, and like,
amazing.
Yeah.
I was there for 14 years, or 12,
oh, gosh.
13 years. Yeah, I can't believe it. But I just love it when I just see what I see back around a lot, though, is community, and how much, again, like family and friends, and how we lean on each other. Mm-hmm. But it's like you find the one or the two or the three maybe in each job that you go,
mm-hmm.
like we're all family.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
There's a certain bond of like, I got you. You got me, cool. And we may not talk for a while, and then we'll see each other again. You're like, hey, I'm moving to LA. Catherine Tokarts did that with us too. Alexis, you came over from New York to LA. Alexis has done all these Broadway shows. I was calling her, say, come to New York, come to LA. But LA is a crazy, it's an experience. And so is New York. And it's what we're drawn to as artists, right? When you look back, like, I'm just pulling this up. I know that people are very important to you. There are certain friends and people in your life that, and I just thought that this was to see that Dilise, this is when she got to do Chorus Line with you.
Yeah.
Gosh, those were look at those costumes.
I know, right? I'm so fake tanned too. I'm like blonde. I went in. Yeah, she's my sister, and like I've done how many shows? I've done 3 shows with her now, and she's someone that like I idolized at BTP, and then Fosse. She's the one who taught me Fosse. She came down to BTP and taught me the show. I have a video of it. It's crazy. And then when I did Oklahoma, my debut, she was in the cast, and I ended up moving right by her. And, that's when we really bonded. And Sweet Charity. Oh, no, I've done 4 shows with her now, because I forgot about Sweet Charity. Anyway, but she's, as I get older, my circle gets smaller. But it's like when you talk about the friends that you gain, like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to add you to my collection. I'm going to add, so like, Lexi's from BTP, you're from Fosse. Like, I have like a collection. They're all women, with the exception of like 2 guys, but I love women. So like, there's that. But I just, like, oh Lord, you did it.
When you see this, I just wanted
So when I was doing Cats, I got to walk in New York Fashion Week for.
That's you?
Yeah.
That doesn't look like you at all.
Well, they curled my hair, so it looks like I have like a Jerry curl perm, and it's.
But your nose is different.
It's probably shaded. Yeah, it doesn't really look like me. My nose does look different.
It's so amazing. I pulled this from your website. I was like, you had to tell us about that for a hot second.
Oh yeah, it was just a cool like. Yeah, just one of the cool things that happened from Cats. The designer asked me to like walk in his show, and I was like, okay. Didn't know what I was doing, but I was like living my Ryan Michael Shaw dreams.
I was about to say, that is like does Ryan Michael Shaw know about this moment?
I don't know if he does. Oh my gosh. Fosse, Curtis Holbrook, and I went skydiving and lied to stage management because because we could have gotten in trouble.
This
But we did it. Huh?
This is amazing. This is you and Curtis Holbrook?
No, that's not Curtis. Curtis Holbrook and I and Aaron Felsky all went skydiving when we were in Florida around this time, 20 years ago. With Laura Haney, we drove into Miami, and this is Skydive Miami, and we went, jumped 15,000.
That's insane. No thanks.
30,000 feet, something crazy. No thanks.
No thanks.
Okay, now you can find the Sweet Charity. Oh, there it is.
Come on.
So this is opening night for you guys.
Charity. Yeah.
Yes.
That's Michael Scott, which you did for 2. Alexis did a 2 for 2.
Yep. Michael Scott.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
Boo. Yes.
So, the last couple of things was just basically, I heard you say, I wasn't gunning for choreographing, but it happened. Yeah. Right. There's something to like, what is up with that? With like, when you're not gunning for something, when you're not holding on so tight. Sorry, this is very boom. What, you know what I mean? Like, I just think like when we have these goals and these dreams, like right now, like from what you've learned and what you've taken away, like it is interesting that people on the outside can go, holy cow, you scored choreographing that and that led to that. How did that happen? And you weren't looking for it and you weren't gunning for it, man. I'd give anything for it. Can you talk upon just a little briefly, just a tidbit or a tip or advice for that in that lesson?
I mean, I think for me, it was just kind of how the choreography thing fell into my lap was it came from, first and foremost, you have to be a nice person in this industry because you never know who you're going to meet and what they're going through, not what they can do for you, but like that's the first thing. You just need to be kind. But from that, of just meeting people, and I think it was just honestly Richard J. Alexander, who I met and he saw me perform and he asked me he just took a chance on me, and he told me I was going to choreograph for Dancing with the Stars. He didn't ask me. And so he pushed me into the deep end. And I think that just kind of balled into a couple of other things. But with choreography, when I say I'm not gunning for it, it's not like I still very much want to perform. I still have that hunger and to learn and perform and explore new things. But there's also like kind of what the universe wants you to do. And I think with choreography, it's definitely like, okay, cool. You can do that. But there are these things that maybe you need to start looking this way. Whether or not that's supposed to happen for me, and there have been things throughout my career that I've been like, okay, this is weird, but I'm gonna say yes because like, why not? And I feel like my whole career has just been like saying yes ever since I was a kid because I'm just like, sure. And I far exceeded anything I ever would have thought for myself. So I'm just gonna keep riding this and be like, sure, yeah. You want me to choreograph a Broadway show? Why not? Because
I saw it. It was amazing.
It's just, I wish there was like if you do this, a formula, but I don't know. I just say yes. You know?
Well, I mean, like it's different. I think everybody's like, we always say everybody's journey is so different because it's like, you look at someone like Andy Blankenbuehler, who was just like, I'm going to be a choreographer. And it was like, he just dedicated everything to studying and teaching. And it's like, that was his route. But it's like everyone has like a different way that they, and I think it's really cool that it kind of reminds me of Susie Meisner, who I'm like obsessed. We're all obsessed with, because she really does do it all. Like you do, Tyler. She choreographed Fosse Verdon that she was in. And she choreographs for like ballet companies. And then
she's my idol.
She's a total badass,
Yeah.
I remember asking her about that, and she was like, I say yes, and it's it's a testament to that.
Yeah, she's my idol. She is my idol. Oh gosh, Susie! Shout out to Susie.
Yeah, our last question.
Well, last question. Look at one more before the last question.
Okay.
Do you and you can ask the last question.
Okay.
Do you have any any like regrets or mistakes that you may have made along the way in your profession that you would have liked to do over?
Oh, sure. I mean, listen, when you're young and in New York and living it up and working on Broadway and thinking that you're hot shit, and then you're just like, you know, there are sure. I wish I'm much healthier now in my life than I was when I was younger. So there's that.
Well, okay, but there's that pause there. If somebody's younger listening to you right now and kind of being, yeah, I'm kind of the hot shit. I'm in mix of the Broadway. I'm actually already in a Broadway show about to happen. You know what I mean? What you got?
I think that it's very easy to fall into a certain scene in the entertainment industry that can bring you down or lead you down a path that isn't the healthiest when it comes to just
Healthcare.
your lifestyle. Yeah. And but I think also too, I look back on, and I don't want to. Regret is such a strong word.
It is
for me because no. Oh my gosh, Chryssie.
I just meant like something that you would maybe if you could go back. It's like a lesson learned that you could just or a debriefing. I don't know. I wish
I just had like right now and over the past 10 years, really, or 15. I wish I would have had I'm still training. I'm still like right now. I'm like. Getting like I feel like I'm training for a marathon because I'm gonna be ready when the world opens back up. But it's like I wish I had these opportunities when I was much younger, first in New York, that I wish I would have taken more seriously. Even auditions, I wish I would have trained. I wish I would have had the work ethic. And my work ethic is has always been strong when it comes to doing the work, but preparing myself for the work. Mm-hmm. I wish I had that.
It's what
I do now.
I don't want to get ready.
Stay ready, then get ready.
Right. Stay ready, then get ready. Yeah.
And that's just it. Like, I feel like really it started to like my journey and I was, you both know this. Like I'm not like, I've worked my ass off as an actor, but that started with a chorus line. Cause I was like, I want to learn how to act. It's not something that is just like, I'm not like a Jennifer Lawrence that's like natural and it just comes like, no, I've come a long way and I still have a long way to go. But like, it's just like, I wish I would have just started that process a little earlier, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. Like
right. No, it's good.
I
have one of those where I was just too much. I was too grateful and gracious and like all the time. Like I just felt like I was like, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much at a job. And the director looked at me finally and was like, if you thank me one more time. And I was like, got it. Like it was me being too
excited.
Just know your boundaries, know your energy. Like when you are young and like, I always have that kind of, like we all have it. And I think it's important that we're not perfect, which is what makes us cool and unique artists, but we also do need to continue to grow and
to have self-awareness.
Yeah.
But self-awareness comes they say youth is wasted on the young. So you had to have gone through those things where you were maybe butchering your body in a way you didn't know.
Sure.
You just had to go through it,
I also, the other thing too, is and you both have witnessed me do this and I've gotten so much better with it, but I just cared so much what other people thought of me and like my work. And I constantly needed that. And it wasn't about like, please feed my ego. It was just, I struggled with confidence. And so I would be like, with you and Sweet Charity, be like, does fruit look okay? Really? Like, da-da-da, or like with you in the studio, is it like, cause I just didn't like, I cared so much more about what other people thought instead of just being in the moment. But I also just confidence. Yeah, it was just confidence too. I had fake confidence.
Well, and I think that a lot of students say they want to build confidence. And one of the things me and Chryssie say is like, to build confidence, you just have to keep doing it. It's like, just you practice. It's practice. And you were practicing. You just happen to be practicing on a very high level of being on Broadway.
Right. And that's the thing.
You were really young. Like you were, you were young, like, and it takes life to, that's what's so beautiful about being an actor is you just keep getting better because you live more life.
Right.
Awesome.
No, of course.
We're dancing. We're like,
I know.
Tyler,
We're not dead yet, though.
Tyler, we are super, super proud of you and proud to be your friend. And
I'm proud of you guys.
No,
Come
but
on.
and then it's so glad to like interview you and see in those pictures and just seeing you in a different light of like how you transform. You're also a passionate educator. We didn't even talk about that. You teach. You love to teach, and
you always have, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And you always have consistently taught, which is just so. That does say a lot about who you are. Just like me.
and you came out for us in California, and that happened in between gigs. So thank you so much. And we just, I think that it's important. We do these T for Twos, everyone, is for you to relate or find something or be inspired to create your own path, but also hear it from someone else, and always listen to the wisdom from people before you, because that is knowledge in there and it's power. And then you get to create your own path. So
and we appreciate how real you've been with us.
Because I cried.
Well, just your willingness to be honest about your journey, and it doesn't mean you have to be. This is something else, you guys. Like Tyler's being open and honest. It doesn't mean he has to share every detail of everything that it's but there's a level of truth and honesty that you're very clearly sharing and which will lead us to the last question. So I like to do this in a two-part. And could you ask a little bit about like what maybe you would have gone back and done differently, but what is the last little piece, if you can muster up, what's a piece of advice? And you kind of started to touch on something that you could give to our younger.
Oh, I was gonna say, remember, no, we say to the little boy.
It's a two-part question.
Oh, okay.
So I want what you would say to a younger artist on their journey, a piece of advice, and then what you would say to your younger self, to this little boy right here. That if you could go back now and say something to him to reassure him, what would that be?
All right, let me start with the advice.
Okay.
So it's interesting because I already said the one thing that I think is so important is just be kind. You have to be kind. Don't be a jerk, because like it can really just change anybody's day. It's just being kind to people, and you don't know what they're going through, and it's really hard to. It's really easy to fall into traps. Like they're energy vampires that are going to be like, come to the dark side because we're, it's cool to be like negative and da-da-da-da. And I've fallen trapped with that. I mean, like, we all have. But the other one too, I think, is just, it's interesting. I'm like, one, I'm giving you three. I always think of like the joys in the work, like that one. And then also just stay in your lane. Like, it's so easy to especially with like social media and like looking at like what people put out there and whatever, and just to compare yourself, and it's just, you just got to stay in your lane and keep moving forward and towards what you want.
Those are two very good advice.
As far as this guy, I think I would just, it's interesting because like, I'd be like, I think that I still am I think I still am as joyful as I was when I was a little kid. But I think I'd just be like, it's okay that you're different. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's what's going to make you and you authentic. And even though you don't fit necessarily into the, puzzle piece the slot that you're supposed to fit into, you will find the right place for you, and you will find the right chosen family for you. Even though I love my family, but it's just like, I think growing up in the South and not, being a male dancer and gay and all these things, like it was just, I never really felt like normal. And I'm like, you're so normal. You're awesome. And like, but the one thing that's never died, and this is why I have my nephew, Jet, who is 5, and he's Jet Tyler. He's named after me. But he has that same like joy, play, like joy for life and everything. And I'm like, I hope you never lose that, because that's something like I feel like through everything I've still kept it, and because life can suck, but it can be so much fun, and laughter is the best, and I love to laugh, and I love to laugh hard. So
Tasha.
I don't know what that means, but all the inside jokes. Well, what a beautiful night today.
Said this was so amazing. Thank you so much for this, Nadia.
Who said that?
Thank you, Nadia.
Oh, Nadia.
Yeah. This was amazing. It was amazing for us too. And we you guys at Broadway Arts Community, we are doing a mentorship program and private coaching as well. And we also offer expert series classes. And we have one coming up with Marsha Mogum Dodge in February. And then Elizabeth.
How can people stay in touch with you? Like if they want to
on Instagram. It's just at the Tyler Haynes. The Tyler Haynes.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm not really active on like Twitter and Facebook. Okay. I had to take a break, but
and then your website, you keep up to date and stuff?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
TylerHaynes.net. Well, we love you.
I love you guys.
You're the best. And
you're the best.
We've got lots of love coming over here. We got some comments of love.
Yes, we do.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And
thanks, everybody. Love you, Ty Ty. Thanks for
you.
And you guys, Chryssie pulled up all those photos. She got all that together. So props.
I know. Amazing.
All of it. No, it's not good. It's not good.
He's the wizard.
Don't go anywhere, but I'm going to end the broadcast. Okay, bye.
Bye, you guys. Bye. Thanks for tuning in.